Hey folks, today we're going to take a look at a game that is currently seeking funding on Kickstarter. That game is called Catboop, and it's from Crazy Mansion Gaming. Now, if you like what you see throughout the rest of this preview video, I'm going to encourage you to go to the official Kickstarter project page to find out more information than I could possibly tell you here. To do that, all you have to do is follow the link in the top corner of your screen, as well as down in the description section underneath this video. Go there, find out more information, and hopefully you will consider backing the project. Now, Catboop is a competitive card game for up to 6 players where you and the other players actually take control of cats. Very clever cats, more cleverer than the usual cat, although cats in general are clever. But you are trying to dominate the other cats in order for you to be the one who finally takes on the final boss, which is humanity, because of course, as we all know, cats want to control their humans as much as possible. But you're doing this in a very playful way within the game. You're trying to boop the other cats, hence the name of the game. Give them a little boop on the snoot, or wherever you want to boop them, I suppose. But you're trying to do that by using cards. You're using cards representing your attacks, so to speak, against the other players, and also using cards to defend against attacks from the other players at the same time. And you're doing this with some clever hand management and management of your cards out on the table as well. But of course, it's a little bit more complicated than that, so we'll go ahead and give you a brief look at how the game is played with a prototype copy of the game. So just bear in mind that what you see here in this preview section, some things may be the same in the final version, some things may change, and that's why you need to go to the Kickstarter page to keep up to date with the information that they have there. But then, in any event, after this brief look, we will come back and discuss it further. Catboop is a competitive card game for 3 to 6 players, though you can also play with 2 players with some variant rules. Each player is a particularly clever cat who is trying to dominate the other cats before they can proceed with their plan of enslaving humanity. To do that, you will need to boop the other cats. If a cat is booped at least 9 times, or whatever amount everyone agrees to beforehand, they're eliminated from the game, but may still be able to mess with the other players for revenge. If you're the last cat standing, so to speak, or have the least boops when the draw pile runs out, you'll be the winner of the game. The first thing you'll need to do is to set up the game is assign the cat character cards, 1 to each player randomly or by choice. Every cat has 2 powers, one that is always on and always takes effect when it applies, or a super cat power that you can only use when you play a super cat card. These powers can tip the balance of the game dramatically, either defending yourself against other players' boops and traps, or enhancing your ability to attack the other cats. On the other side of your cat card is your Pooper Scooper ability, which will be your only option to mess around with the other players after you've been eliminated and can't be used until that point. Next, you'll need to set up the main draw pile. Find all the Super Cat cards, take 2 per player that's in the game, and leave the rest out of the game. Shuffle those cards in with the rest of the cards to form the draw pile, leaving space for the discard pile, also known as the litter box. Then deal 8 cards out to each player. Once you have your 8 cards, choose 4 of those cards and place them face down in your play area in a row. These are the cards you'll actually be able to use on your turn or use to defend yourself during your opponent's turns. The other 4 cards are placed in a pile nearby known as your basket. You can't play cards from your basket, but you'll eventually be able to switch some cards from your basket to your play area. If you get more than 4 boop cards on this opening hand, you can discard and redraw 8 cards. Lastly, make a pile of boop tokens, which players will take as they get boops to keep track. At the same time, decide with the other players what the boop limit will be. That is, the amount of times a cat can take boop tokens before they're eliminated from the game. The higher the limit, the longer the game will take. Decide who will go first, either randomly or by determining who held a cat last. Turns will go in clockwise order. On your turn, you will have an action phase and a replenishing phase in that order. During the action phase, you'll choose one of your face-down cards that has a red paw icon and use it against one of your opponents, who in turn can use a card with a blue paw icon to defend against it, including special trap cards. Remember, these cards have to be in the play area. You can't use them from your basket. All used cards during this exchange are discarded, and if the targeted player can't defend, they may take 1 or more boop tokens depending on the card that was played. Action cards come in several varieties. The basic boop card can simply inflict one boop if undefended, but other action cards can restrict the other player's actions, like catastrophes that attach to the targeted player, and some of these cards double as defense cards, like the trap cards. Still, other cards can counter or dispel action cards that have been played against you. And don't forget the all-powerful Super Cat cards. If a cat is eliminated by receiving the amount of boops the players agreed to beforehand, they flip their cat card to the Pooper Scooper side and discard all of their other cards. On future turns, they'll only be able to use that ability. When you finish resolving your action card, it's time to replenish. Figure out how many face down cards you're missing, draw that many from the pile, and add them to your basket. Then use your basket cards to replenish your face down cards back up to 4. If you still somehow end up with less than 4 cards in your basket, draw again until you have 4 there as well. After you've taken an action and replenished, play passes to the next player. The game continues until all but one player have been eliminated, and that player will win the game. It can also end if the draw pile runs out, with the player with the least acquired boops being the winner of the game in that case. That is Catboop. Well, of course, making a game about cats is an idea that's never going to go out of style, because you're always going to have cat lovers and even people who don't really like cats that much, but still like the idea of playing as cats in a game. But I think that Catboop goes above and beyond to be more unique and set themselves apart from so many of the other cat-based games that are out there. Not just because of the name, which is fun to say, Catboop, but also because of the way that the hand management in this game works and how you can use the cards. Because I think, and I've said this before, for a lot of card games that actually go the extra mile to have clever mechanics, it would be so easy just to make a very simple run-of-the-mill take that card game where it's just like, I throw a card down and then, you take this and then, draw this many cards, like, an Uno type of game, in other words, the atypical take that card game or Munchkin. But in the case of Catboop, having to have the system of where, you have the multiple different cards with different effects, and, cards can be used for different things, like a trap card can be used as an attack or as a defense. But having that management issue of, okay, here's the cards that I have in play, and, you actually lay them out kind of like trap cards to like that other famous card game. But also how you have your basket of cards too. So these are the queue of cards. So you have to very carefully decide which 4 cards you think you're going to need for the next turn and at the start of the game. But then you also will have a chance to replenish those cards. But again, you're having to very carefully think of how you're going to want to do that. Do you want to just save some of your better cards for later in the game? And therefore, you're going to try to just get, for instance, standard boop cards and use those as much as possible right at the beginning. How much do you load yourself up with cards that are, specifically are more for attack, and then you're not leaving yourself, you're not giving yourself a lot of options for defense. But if you load your in-play cards with too much defense cards, then you're not making any progress. You're not attacking your opponents. You're not doing what you need to do in order to make sure that you win. So it's kind of this give and take here. And again, this is one of the things too. Hand in hand with the casual and fun theme, there's also the fact that it's not a hard game to learn by any stretch of the imagination. It's actually a very fast game to learn or to teach to someone else and to set up. But you always want to look in games like that. Does the game still have decision making? Does it still have a strategy? Is there still planning going on? And I think the Catboop does have that. So together with the hand management and with all these different options and abilities that you have, and of course you have the cat card too, which right off the bat has special powers, which makes you distinct from the other players. And again, I do feel that other card games that can, and I don't think that this game necessarily falls into this category, but other card games that would be considered a take that card game wouldn't even bother having, character cards with special unique powers that can change from game to game. They wouldn't even bother with that. So Catboop does go the extra mile to have that on top of the strategy of the card play as well. And yes, lots of cat artwork, lots of cute cat pictures, and cat puns, and catastrophes, and things like that. So if you feel like any of that appeals to you, or to people in your family, friends, someone that you know that you want to give a gift to, listen, you don't need to take my word for any of that. You can go to the official Kickstarter project page and find out more information about the game and hopefully consider backing the project. To do that, simply follow the link in the top corner of your screen or down in the description section underneath this video. That is Catboop from Crazy Mansion Gaming. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, for supporting our sponsors. Take care.